Hey guys, how's it going? Ricky Widmer here from Most Valuable Podcast. Was that better, Brandon? Was that better for you? He's giving the nod of approval. The first time I said it with a little high-pitched, nasally voice, it wasn't that good. Trust me, you guys didn't want to hear it. But we have our first one. I am happy to announce they came here. They came here sooner rather than later. But we have our first college basketball rankings of the year. And I know what you're saying, Ricky. Welcome to the party. We're done with non-conference, and now you've got the rankings coming out. We had to get through the football ones first, let's be honest. Football was a little bit more important, let's be honest. But basketball's now the top dog, and we've got our first top 25 for you guys. We're going to start from the bottom, then hopefully we'll get here. But 25 through 21. I can't make enough Drake references when talking about rankings. 25 through 21 at number 25. Actually tied for 24. We've got the Pitt Panthers and the UConn Huskies. Then at number 23, the Dayton Flyers. Man, do I love Dayton. Then you've got number 22, the South Carolina Gamecocks. And then at number 21, the Purdue Boilermakers. And the team I want to talk about here is South Carolina. Because for me, it was hard to rank South Carolina. Yeah, you're undefeated. But who have you beaten? Who have you beaten? I'll be honest. Brandon had South Carolina as his last ranked team. And part of me was like, you know what? I can see that because who have you beaten? You may be 13-0, but who have you beaten? Then you've got Purdue. Usually right now, one of the middle tier, the better middle tier, not quite the number one, number two, but a solid 3-4 in the Big Ten. Who have you beaten, young fella? They're going to get chances. They've got Iowa. They've got Michigan State. They've got quality teams in their conference to climb, but right now they're at 21. Let's go on. 20 through 16. At number 20, the Texas A&M Aggies. Then number 19, the Iowa Hawkeyes. Number 18, the SMU Mustangs. At number 17, the Louisville Cardinals. And then at number 16, actually, Louisville and this team, Butler, are tied for 16 on our rankings. And Butler's an interesting one. They've had two bad losses of late. Well, I'm going to say bad losses. They've had two losses this week that kind of knocked them down in my mind. Louisville, the loss to Kentucky, kind of knocking you down a bit. Iowa, the reason why you're in my rankings is because you beat Michigan State. And then SMU, you're undefeated, but kind of a little bit of you beat more teams than the Gamecocks, but really, who have you beaten? You really haven't beaten anybody. So SMU, it's like, okay, you're undefeated, Larry Brown. I respect you as a basketball-minded head coach. Let's not get into any allegations of why he was suspended, because that could go on for days. But SMU, undefeated, number 18. Then moving on, top 15, 15 through 11. We've got number 15, West Virginia. Number 14, actually tied for 13, the Iowa State Cyclones and the Dukies from Durham, North Carolina. Then tied for 11, we've got the Wildcats, Big Blue Nation at number 11, tied with the Miami Hurricanes. And this one, like Kentucky, this is a Kentucky team that isn't really, it's not your grandfather's Kentucky team. It's not even, let's say, it's not even your brother's Kentucky team. This isn't a Kentucky team that we saw 2 years ago, last year. This is a different team. This is a team that isn't going to be as dominant to me, and the reason being is they're being overshadowed by the Kansases, the Oklahomas. Then you've got Duke right there at 13. I'll be honest, Duke is not one of my favorite teams this year. There's a reason why they're 13. They're not that good. And as Brandon said on the Primetime Podcast, there's a reason why Duke's not number one. They don't have Tyus Jones, and Grayson Allen can't be Tyus Jones. He's not going to be Tyus Jones. Duke, to me, is going to be a middle-tier team on these rankings. Could be a sub-2 team in the NCAA tournament this year. Let's move on, though. Top 10. 10 through 6. The Arizona Wildcats at 10. The Villanova Hova at number 9. Xavier coming in at number 8. Number 7, Providence, the Friars. Then at number 6, the Tar Heels from Chapel Hill. And Brandon's going to like that. He's got to like that the Tar Heels coming in at number 7. You like that, Brandon? You like that? Or number 6? Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, the Tar Heel fan in Brandon likes that. Providence, they're actually a shocker, winning some big games. Villanova winning some big games. Arizona, these are teams that I expect to fight it out in these top 10 rankings. Xavier just losing their first game this past week. And then the top 5. At number 5, Spartans, what is your profession? Profession? I said that wrong. What is your profession? I was trying to do a 300 reference. Get off me, guys. Then at number 4, the Cavaliers, not the ones from Cleveland, the ones from Virginia. Then at number 3, we've got the Turtles, or Terrapins as they like to be called, in Maryland. And then number 2 and number 1. As I am recording this video, they are going to be matching up in about 15 minutes. Now you guys know when I recorded this video, the Sooners and the Jayhawks. And coming into this week, this was the number 1 and number 2 team. There was no doubt about it. These were number 1, number 2. I got to level with you guys. Here's the thing. Because this was our first rankings of the year, it was kind of tricky for me. Do I go off of this past week, which both teams 2-0, Kansas completely demolished Baylor, like 120-something to 74. Or do I go with all time? Where if I'm going all season, I got to give Oklahoma the number 1 nod. I mean, it doesn't matter if they win tonight; they'll be number 1 next week. But to me, it was kind of like what do I do? I based it for me more off of this past week as an entire season thing because we're supposed to have more rankings coming out if we start at the beginning of the season. So Kansas is my number 1 team. However, Sooner fans, I would love to hear your case for why you should be number 1. And you guys, well, I'll be honest, you guys, in my personal rankings, you guys will be number 1 if you beat Kansas this upcoming week. But yeah, these are our rankings. Kansas and Oklahoma, 1 versus 2, baby. 1 versus 2, baby. But that's going to do it for our rankings this week. Our number 1, our first one. Let us know what you guys think of them down below. Also, let us know who missed the cut. I'll be honest. My first team out at 26, Gonzaga, baby. Let's see if they can get in maybe next week. However, as we enter conference play, Gonzaga don't play anybody. It's because of their conference. But it's going to do it for our rankings. You can hit me up on Twitter. It's right up there. I'll point like I usually do. Yeah, you got to point with the opposite one. Go ahead, hit that like button, that sub button, all that good stuff. Go ahead, check out the Primetime Podcast as we invited on one of our fellow listeners for our Primetime call-in, Trevor Kinney. We talked about some Louisville Cardinal basketball. So if you like the Louisville Cardinals, go ahead, check that out at mostvaluablepodcast.com. I want to thank you guys for checking out this rankings. I'm Ricky Widmer, but as always, have a good day, everybody.